This computer is weird. When these old desktop computers are kind of funny. They're very fast when they're warm, and when you start them up, they're very slow. All right,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and get started. So, Rizal, let me tell you what's going on. Faris is working with me today to do CEO shadowing, and also he's helping to create some videos. Or actually, I'm making the videos, but Faris is the secretary. So he's creating titles and descriptions to various videos that we think will be useful for future intern training. So in the future, we're going to have this culture of assume that your question has been answered already. So we just create the documentation, but anybody new here can just look for the documentation on our sources. Okay, so let's fire this up. The point of having this discussion today is to go into the Facebook and take a look at the ads and see how we're doing. So this is going to be just kind of a live uh, practice, I guess, around how quickly we can iterate and come up with some new ideas. Because yeah, I think that would be good. Okay, so Faris, welcome. Uh, Let me just introduce you to. I'm sure you know Rizal already, but what Rizal's been working on diligently is creating Facebook ads to attract property owners from outside of Indonesia, mainly in Italy, I believe Spain and Portugal, to subscribe for Bukit Vista services. He's working in conjunction with Diba to place these ads onto a landing page that hopefully people will convert into potential property partners. So that's what Rizal's working at the moment. We were inspired by this lady Virtue, who I believe Cynthia discovered in her professional networking adventures. And Virtue happened to be an expert on Facebook bidding strategy. And actually, that could be a good thing for you to read too. Actually, as well, she gave us a handbook on how to bid successfully on Facebook. Okay, so what we're going to do through this time is we'll have probably an intense period and then a more quieter period. So we'll just sort of remain in the chat room. It's an idea that Powell came up with, and so who's Powell? Powell was one of the Airbnb leaders in Central Eastern Europe. So he said that sometimes it could be good to have what he called a 4 hour video call. So you don't really have a video call during the whole 4 hours. You just essentially keep the channel open so that you come up with an idea. You can be, hey, look, I have an idea, and just build on that. The idea of that is to compress the innovation cycle from maybe a week to just a few hours. And if it works, then it can become a good new habit. All right, so I don't really know how to do this because this is the first time I'm doing it too, but I understand the intent and I can see how this might be a fast way to innovate. Faris is here to observe, and Faris also, as just a suggestion, perhaps take notes during the this session so that after it's over, we can immediately upload it and we can put the notes on and get some benefit. Okay. All right. I'd like to begin with having Rizal. Rizal, please share your screen, and let's take a look at your ad sets and what the activity has been on some of these ad sets. Okay.
Thank you, sir. So basically, at this currently, I creating there is a two ads running right now.
All right.
Use Balinese market #4 and also Florence short term #2.
Okay.
So this ad currently I'm running in 1 week,
Okay.
and also I want to try. This is the best. This is the correct market to aim or not. So yeah, basically, if you can see at this chart at this list, there is a Balinese market #4, and if you can see at here, using bidding strategy using cost cap around 33 US dollar,
Okay.
and also budget $3 daily, and then we can see there is a number of reach and also the impression.
I see. Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Let's take a look and okay. First thing is let's talk about KPIs, right? Let's talk about meaningful KPIs. So I will because I think that will guide us to where we need to go. So what I'm going to do, Rizal, is I'm going to actually share my screen, and actually wait. Let's have this discussion inside DM discuss. So I will. Oh my God, my computer! Come on. Sorry, I'm having a. I don't know what's happened. It used to be so fast. Now it's that's a pain. So what? Sorry. I'm gonna just pause and remain silent for a moment while I fix this. Okay. Okay. Give it a second. Okay, let's do this. DM dis, right? DM spinning ball, spinning ball. Okay, Rizal, you can share your screen too, actually. So let's both share our screens. That way we can juggle between um, each screen. That's fine. And I'll moderate so that we'll sort of decide which screen we'll look at the time being. Okay, so what my computer is doing right now, it's just juggling and beach balling right now. So I'm just waiting for the beach ball to stop moving. And oh my God, please come on! What is going on? Uh, okay, maybe it's my VPN. No, maybe it's G network. No, it's all good. Okay, couldn't create new doc. What? Okay, DM. I might be forced to use a different computer. Okay, give me a second. Yeah. Oh, wait, now it's working. It always does that. Just the moment you're about to abandon it, it will start working again. It's like a bad relationship. Okay. Um, funny. Let's continue over here. All right. So basically, I'll get this conversation started while we're running. Um, let's go over to Rizal. Rizal, what do you believe are the most important metrics that tell us if we're headed the right direction or not in this journey?
Okay, so for my experience as before, the best metric that we can use is first is using bidding strategy that uh, we choose the right budget, and then more higher budget, more daily budget,
Okay.
and then uh, I believe correct market, and also landing page.
Okay. All right. Let's write down the metrics first, right? So we have to be. I think let's think about the control KPIs and OKRs first, right? So what metrics should we use to determine success on our Facebook ads? Okay. So um, let's say there's a final thing that we should get. What's the final metric of success?
Mm, partner inquiries.
Uh, more than just that. More than just that. That's probably an intermediary metric.
Mm, uh,
For you, it's probably final, but let's say for the company.
oh, I see. Partner, new leads coming. Yeah, new leads.
Even more than that. Even more than that. It's revenue, right?
I see. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So we have to think about what's actually producing revenue. Because let's say we're successful at the top of funnel, but we're not producing as much revenue as we could. Then we've picked the wrong mission, maybe, right? So if we just say, yeah, we're getting a lot of leads, but these leads are not generating very much revenue, then no matter what, it's not as good of an application of our efforts as let's say something else. So then let's work our way back up to the top again. All right. So we have middle metrics. Middle metrics are the things that you just mentioned, such as leads, right? And then we have probably initial metrics. Um, Initial metrics are bidding, I think, is a strategy. It produces a metric. But what would be like the initial metrics to gauge whether or not you were getting traction?
from the content side.
Yeah, yeah. What would be, let's say, how would you know, let's say, because this is going to take a while, right? This is probably going to take a few months between the time we set an ad and the time we actually get revenue. So then, in the meantime, how do you know what to measure, and how do you know if the front of your pipeline is actually doing well to serve the back of your pipeline? So, what kind of metrics would you refer to see if you are on a successful pathway at the moment?
I don't have any idea, sir.
Probably your CPM, right? Your CPM. What is your cost per impression?
Mm,
Okay? If, let's say, your cost per impression is not very good, then you're probably not efficient in your bidding, or some other component of the ad is not getting out there. So if you're getting a very high CPM, that means there's something that's not quite working at the top of the metric. And I would say it's probably, remember, it's always a ratio, right? Don't ever think of it as a fixed thing. It should be a ratio. It should probably be lead pace. Okay? Just like booking pace. How many leads are we getting a week? How many leads are we getting a day? And so then that becomes a metric to understand how successful the ads are doing. And then the revenue could be maybe revenue per month, right? So how much revenue is coming off of each property per month? And that would give us a final metric of success to see, does the ad actually justify the spend? Now, all ads have the same purpose. We're looking to get the most revenue for the least amount of spend, right? So what we're doing in the meantime is to make that process more efficient. So we need a system. We need a system to make that more efficient. So we're designing a system right now. In the design of the system, we have to break it into different components. Why? Because of the time involved, right? It's going to take so much time to actually get, I think, a final result. And if we don't break it down into, if we just look at, let's say, a final result, then it might be months before we make a pivot to change our idea. But if we break down into KPIs, or metrics for each stage, then we know that, hey, look, at least we've achieved maximum efficiency for this stage. At least we've achieved maximum efficiency for the next stage. And at least we've achieved maximum efficiency maybe at the very end, because these things have happened. Okay, so I think can let's just use this as a hypothesis, yeah? And this kind of gives me an idea. Okay, all right, this kind of goes back to Trello, right? Let's say Contrello. Because never let a good hypothesis go to waste, right? Okay, so let me. Why is my computer so slow? Oh, it's such a pain. Oh, okay, sorry. You probably did not wake up this morning to hear me complain about this. Oh, it's it's like having it's like having slime in your brain. What the fuck is wrong with this thing? Oh, maybe it's because uTorrent is on. Okay. Okay. All right. Sorry. Ah! Ah! All right. Give me a second here. I'm gonna have to probably use a different machine. What? What is taking up so much space? Maybe it's Slack. Maybe Slack is fucking up. Right, I'm gonna close Slack. I'm gonna close WhatsApp. I can't close Google Chrome. You got to be shitting me. Okay. All right. I'm gonna switch computers. Okay. Does that work a little bit better? Yeah. Hopefully. Okay. So let me. Sorry about that. That was rather unpleasant, in fact. So let's take a look and I hope that this machine works a little bit faster than the previous machine, which it usually doesn't. But let's see. Okay. So back to this idea of creating uh, meaningful meaningful metrics. Oh, it's this probably the stupid VPN thing that I'm using. Okay, let's turn that off. That might be getting in my way. Speed. Okay. We'll turn off browsec. Browsec is a piece of shit. All right. Whew. Okay, so let's. Okay. All right. I think I got everything repositioned over to this new computer. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at this idea. So if we have a hypothesis of, let's say, a new. Actually, I lost my train of thought. Sorry for the distraction. I need to go back to where this was before. Um, okay. Whew. All right. Back to like where we were before now. Thank you for your patience, gentlemen. While I did that mid session transfer. Okay, so let's take a look and try to understand if these would actually be good metrics, right? What so far is our cost per impression right now result for the Balinese ads?
I think the impression is using uh, cost cap 33 US dollar.
Oh no, that's the budget per day, right? So what's the cost per impression? It's actually pretty bizarre because they say cost per result is actually undefined. But what we would do is we take the amount spent and then we divide it by the budget, right? So if I'm looking at this correct, you would take essentially 5,701 and then divide that against $4.80. Okay. So here I'll take a quick look at that stat. So it's 5,701 divided by $4.80. So we get about 1,187 impressions for every dollar we spend on the
Oh,
market, right? Okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
great. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other stack, right? On the Italian stack, I think the cost per impression is a little bit lower. We're getting something around 2,188 impressions, and we divide that against the budget that we spend, which is $5.78. Okay, and that's much lower actually. So we only get 378 impressions for every dollar spent in the Florence set. And then for the Barcelona set, we oh my god, that's probably the highest cost actually. We get 2,655 impressions divided by $8.31. So we get about 300 impressions per dollar spent on the Barcelona ads. Okay, so we have these metrics, but what do these metrics actually what do these metrics actually tell us, right? Um, and that's the next question in the discussion thread. So let's go to Result for that. Result, what does the CPM tell us about our advertising campaigns?
Um, the cost will be uh, impact the impression.
Okay, great. It tells us that, but we also know something else. Is there anything we can control to get more impressions for the cost?
The budget itself, sir.
Okay, all right. So the budget setting, right?
Yeah.
All right, great. Is it the overall budget or the way that we set a budget that's more important?
Uh, the the daily budget.
Okay, so remember, right? Once again, if you set a daily budget, like I mean, no matter what, you're going to get more impressions with more budget, right? That's true all the time. If I spend more money, I will get more impressions. But that's why it's a ratio. It's a impression over a budget. So, in your opinion, Rizal, are there any ways that you can get more impressions for a lower budget? What would be, let's say, the factors that can control that?
Um, I think it's from the audience. So if the audience more large, so it can get more impression.
Okay, so you believe that it's the size. Okay, so the size of the audience, right?
Yeah.
Do we control the size of the audience?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
how can we control the size of the audience?
Using detail demographic.
Detailed demographic tends to reduce the size of the audience. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes. Yes, sir.
So then, how would you actually, how would you be able to increase the size of the audience with with more demographic data?
Um, I think adding the target area.
Adding the target area. Okay. So then when you set a target area, I guess do you want to set a larger target area or
Yeah.
a smaller target area?
A larger target area, sir.
Okay. So you believe that a larger target area will okay. All right, great. So let's do this. This is actually the basis of experiments result. And this is actually what currently Faris is here, right? So I'm going to give a little bit of constructive criticism. This is what I currently do not necessarily see in the daily updates on the digital marketing scrum, which is how you're reporting the results back, right? So we know what the results are, but what I think the daily scrum, what we should be tuning is how do you get better results, right? And what hypothesis are you currently holding to get to whatever result that you anticipate? So that's a hypothesis that you just told me. Your hypothesis is if we raise the size of the area, we will get a better CPM. We will get a more efficient conversion. We'll get more impressions per dollar spent, and that's worthwhile to explore. That is a worthwhile experiment. So what you can do is you set a new ad at the same time, right? So you have one ad that does it with the control, that's not changing anything, and you set now a new ad. And in your new ad, you raise the size of the audience, and you can do an A/B test. I believe that that's a feature on Facebook, and then you would either confirm or not your hypothesis about that. And that is essentially what that's what your goal is. You're going from one actionable discovery to another actionable discovery to fix each part of the pipeline. So let's say right now you get 300 impressions in Italy and in Spain. Could you get 1,000, right? Like the way that you get here in Indonesia. If you get 1,000 for the same dollar spent, that means you figured something out. You figured out how to be more efficient with your, with your budget. So I think part of it, and Please, do you have the experimental template right now? Because I see that you are keeping track. Can we take a look at your experimental template, result, and see what that looks like?
Okay, sir. Wait. This is the link that was set.
All right, very good. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Okay. So basically, I'm recording the uh, ads planning, but not for the result itself because result it's already on the Facebook.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the only thing that I recorded, sir.
Okay, got it. There's a okay. Let's see. Budget and timing, message and problem content. Okay, good, good. That's all done the right way. Um, and I guess let's see. Maybe I'm trying to see. Do you have a hypothesis, or is the hypothesis? I guess the row is the hypothesis, right? So how will you know this result? How will you know whether to continue a pivot or to pivot away from the current pivots?
Hmm. Okay. So my hypothesis is just the result itself from the impression and then unique clicks, total unique clicks, and if it's not doing well, so my plan is I will change the target because my hypothesis is the area it's not supporting using ads,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's the only my hypothesis, sir.
Oh, so you believe that essentially no ads would actually work in these particular areas. Is that correct?
Uh, yeah, I believe so. So basically, from the European market, it's not doing great. But for the Bali, I believe it's have progress in every at the time.
Ah,
Uh,
interesting. In Bali. Okay. All right. Great. Now we have some space for a hypothesis, right? So let's brainstorm. Let's think about where what that tells us. Faris, any ideas what that could tell us? So Weasel's ads are not performing that well in Europe. They're performing well in Bali. What do you see as an opportunity there, Faris?
Maybe the ads. It's not from the ads. I think maybe it's because the are in this right time. There's not a lot of people looking for vacation. I think so. There is no. Uh, there's there's not a lot search for looking to Bali. Maybe I think
Okay.
so. It's not from the.
First, let me stop you real quick. What do we do here in marketing? Do we target guests or do we target property partners?
Pardon, sir. Sorry. Can you repeat?
Okay. Who do you think these ads are for? What is the intended audience for these ads? Are they for guests or are they for potential property partners?
Oh, for property partners.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier something about people traveling. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
okay, all right. So, all right. Well,
My
my
bad.
question would have been like, what would that have to do with an ad targeting a property partner, right?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so let's go back to Result. Result, do you see any opportunities right now in sort of that information, or do you have any new hypotheses based on the results? You're saying that, okay, all right. First, let's be clear. Let's zoom up a little bit. How do you know if a result is good or not good?
okay. My hypothesis is when the result is good, there will be uh, uh, high number of people visiting our landing page,
Okay.
and then there's a lot of number of unique link clicks,
Hmm.
and then um, new leads contacting us.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, very good. So we know what we're looking for, right? We're looking for unique clicks, visits to the landing page, and so on and so forth. Okay.
Yeah,
But remember, everything is a ratio. Okay. Does that make sense? Everything's a ratio, meaning it's a function of something else as well. So what we need to understand is what those metric ratios are. So that is important to set your expectations. So what I'm suggesting is maybe what you're looking for is a ratio of budget and time, right? So what is this? What is a necessary budget in order to get a certain number of clicks? What is a necessary time frame to expect for a certain amount of activity to happen on my website now that I have this budget? So you're not looking at it in sort of a one-dimensional way. You're thinking of it in a two-dimensional way. So this is actually pretty important. Of course, let's say if you don't know, for example, what the correct budget should be to get a click onto your site, then maybe you're underspending. Maybe we're not spending enough to actually get people on, right? So we currently don't actually know this. But you know what? This is a perfect targeted question to ask anybody who's been doing online ads in Europe, right? This would be a perfect question because this would be let us know what we want to ask. So I think I'll put that down, right? This idea of all right, how to set our expectations correctly. Oh my God, what is? I'm just having computer hell today. Result. I'll probably need you to help. Yeah. So would you be able to go in the DM discussion and just include this this thought, right? This question. So DM this. And the thought is this: what is essentially the correct cost per impression and cost per lead for a for somebody who's looking to acquire a property, right? What is the correct? Because we need to know what gold medal looks like, right? Right now, we don't know. Right now, maybe gold medal looks like, let's say we went to Yojin, right? Again, let's say we go into Yojin, we ask Yojin, what was the average budget to bring one property into Airbnb? And she would say it's $300. And we go, oh, that's probably why, right? We're probably spending too little. And then we would know essentially what that was. And then we could break that question into, okay, uh, of that $300, how much of it was spent on impressions? How much of it was spent on getting leads? How much of it was in the follow up? And that would then give you essentially the correct parameters to tune your goals to. I think the very first thing is so what should our expectations? So this is the question, right? What should our expectations be for cost per impression, maybe cost per lead, and landing page conversion, right? And I think we can put that actually up on the research side. Okay. And perhaps also now that let's say and a budget too, right? What should our expectation be for size of budget per month? If we're looking to, let's say, I think that should be another question, right? If we're looking to acquire a certain number of properties per month, what should the corresponding budget be per month? Okay, I think that will essentially give us a indication if we do that. If we know those two answers or three answers, that will tell us essentially what we need to do to get better. So right now we don't really know, right? Like if we're not getting website visits, if we're not getting clicks, if we're not getting property sign-ups, maybe we're not spending enough money, right? Maybe we're not generating the correct amount of. Oh God, I have totally the idea. Rizal, I have a epiphany from the word that we learned last night. I think I got it. This should be kind of it, right? We should be able to bring this information, let's say, to somebody who's smart and knows or experienced. Let's say somebody who's experienced and has done this before. We should be able to build a funnel. All right, so we'll call it impressions. I really wish my computer was working better. Impressions. Maybe, I don't know, what's going on? Impressions, reach. Oh, oh. Reach. Hey, you guys want to try an experiment? Can we try moving to BB Scrum? I think it might be whereby is slowing the computer down. Yeah. Should we try that? Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you for bearing with me. Yeah. So Ferris, we're going to move to a different channel right now. I'll give you the link to that channel, and Ferris, just please join us over there. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Thank you. All right, gentlemen, welcome. Okay, hopefully this works a little bit better. I hope. We'll see you very shortly. Your videos are much clearer already, so that's a good sign. Oh my god! Oh my god! It was whereby, fucker. Whereby is such a piece of shit. Now that we're not using whereby, it's fast again. Okay, right. I feel like I went from being retarded to being prescient. Okay, so this is maybe what we can look for. Let's say the metric, and this is the maybe not that great. The Bukit Vista, and this is the standard, right? Ah, okay, not entirely better. All right, the impression. So we look at the CPM. Maybe we look at the CPR, the cost per reach. And then maybe we also look at the lead cost. And this is the cost per lead. And then the last one is probably the return on investment, which is the last one, right? Is the cost of revenue. Okay, what I think, Rizal, you can do is if you use these as your main metrics of measuring success, then you'll be able to essentially you'll be able to go from campaign to campaign, ad to ad, and have all the correct, let's say, expectations done, right? So you can compare one campaign to another campaign, one ad set to another ad set by looking at these metrics. You can even let's say, if you talk to like somebody like Yojin or an industry expert, like maybe like Virtue. Virtue would be a great person to talk to. So you can ask her, all right, Virtue, I'm getting, let's say, a cost per impression of 300 per dollar. Is that good? And maybe she tells you that's great, that's fantastic. You're doing superb in this particular category. So then you know that okay, it's not the front of your funnel that's broken, right? Actually, it's not just metric, but it's also the controls. So you're using the metrics in order to get better control over whatever you're doing. So you know that the reach, this has something to do with audience selection, right? There are the